What I always tell people that, bro, this industry has been around so long. There was money, gobs of money being made every year in insurance before any of us were around, before any technology whatsoever, before any leads, before phones, before computers, before telesales, before CRMs. Like, they've been making the money forever. What's up, y'all? John Wetmore back with another episode of Insurance Insiders with my dude, Johnny Nitafan. How are you, bro?
Good, man. Never better, dude. Hit the gym, ready to rock and roll, bro.
Love it. What'd you work out today?
Legs, dude. Legs
Leg.
is one of those things. My heel's been jacked up the past few weeks, so it's
Yeah.
nice to hit a solid leg day.
Yeah.
Get that testosterone just boosting for the day, bro.
At my age, you got to use a needle for that shit. Testosterone, not other stuff.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man.
It is, man. I was like, damn. One day I'm feeling like shit for a couple months. I'm like, what the hell? Keep going to the doctor, and he's like, "Yo, you ever had your test checked?"
Did
And I'm
you
like,
or
"My
yeah,
what?"
yeah. I mean, dude, it's like a lot of people definitely I've been hearing a lot of that stuff recently, and I'm like, maybe I should consider getting on TRT like when I'm 40 or something.
Yeah, dude, I go, right? So finally I go. And I'd seen like a couple doctors before. You know your body, right? When you're
Yeah.
off. I'm like, something's off, dude. I'm telling you something's off. Finally, one guy smart enough to ask. It took him 10 seconds. It's like when someone knows, they know. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He just 10 seconds to diagnose it. He tests it. Mine was like 200. And it's
Oh,
supposed to be
really?
like 1,000 or 1,200, whatever the
Yeah.
number is. And I'm like, oh, no wonder. A couple weeks. And now it's been like 5 years though.
Yeah.
But
For sure, man. Yeah.
but yeah, gym day, dude. I love it. I can't. Do you feel messed up if you don't go to the gym? Like, does it
Yeah, it's
affect you?
weird, bro. It's weird. And especially 75 hard now, it's like it's more of an inconvenience not going to the gym
Yeah.
than it is going to the gym, if
Are
that
you
makes
are
sense.
you in it right now?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're
What day?
day 23 or 24.
We're like you're both doing it. You doing it with the
Oh,
wife?
no, no, no. I'm
Okay,
doing it with one of the guys that I'm working with,
got it.
and then I'm doing it with my brother. So they both failed first week, and I
Yeah.
was like, you guys have to finish this with me. So I might go 85 days
So you're
just
ahead of them.
to
Nice.
yeah. So one of them was like, dude, I drank like 3/4 of the gallon, dude. I drank the other fourth this
Yeah.
morning, so we're back in it. And I was like, that doesn't count, bro.
That ain't no.
I was like, you got to start over. And I was like, standards, because the little things add up. And if you cut yourself short here, what else are you gonna cut short on? And so
100%.
he's like, you're right, bro. It sucks. And I'm like, you got to do it, bro. It's standards.
You've
Standard.
finished it before, haven't you?
I have.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So I've
Last
finished it
year.
already once with my wife.
Yeah.
This time I did not want to do it, bro, at all. Usually I'm like, yeah, let's do this thing. And I remember last time I resented it more. You and I talked about this
Yeah.
on my when I interviewed you, but like I binged so hard after 75 hard that I
Yeah.
was like, I resented it so much. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I actually want to do this again, or I don't want to do this at all, but that's why I feel like I need to. And so I
Yeah.
was like, you know
Because it
what?
didn't
I'm gonna
work.
do it and commit to it. Yeah.
You know what's funny, dude, is the second time I did it first and second time back to back. I had like maybe 2 weeks off. But the
Yeah.
second time, Steph wanted to do it with me. So I'm like, all right, I'll redo it. So I essentially did it for, 150 out of 155 days or 60 days, whatever the gap was in the middle.
Yeah.
And the third time was like I fell off the wagon the second time. Like I still worked out, but my diet was trash. I'd be like, I can get some Chick-fil-A. Hell, give me two of them, you know?
Yeah.
And so I did it again the third time. I don't remember how long later. It was a hot minute. I think it was the following year, so maybe 6 or 8 months later. And dude, I hated it the entire time because I was mad. It's so weird. I was mad that it took a program to stay disciplined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a mind trick. I'm like, oh, I'm on 75 hard. I got to be disciplined. If I'm not, I can't. You know what I mean? So now I won't do it. Someone asked me to do it in January this year, and I was like, I thought about it, and I'm like, I really don't want to because I just want to live my life disciplined.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect every day, but dude, my diet's way more on point than ever before in my life. And working out, if I don't, dude, everyone around me notices now. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you didn't go to the gym today, did you?" I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because like the more that I've kind of learned just about the you like systematizing things.
Yeah.
Like if you can systematize your personal life, you can systematize the business, you can systematize success. I
Yeah.
think that's what I've learned a lot recently. And so like I try to like literally it's not about sticking to the morning routine. It's more about like doing consistent actions over and over and over, like successful actions over and over and over again, and just making it like just who you are. Right. So you
Yeah.
see back here, it's like the protein bars. Eat
Yeah.
that every morning right after the gym, drink a protein shake right after the gym. So within an hour of like working out, 50 grams of protein in right away. And then it's like, all right, cool. Now I'm not hungry till like lunch. So then I can just work and focus on that and put all my energy on that instead of like, because I think a lot of us get decision fatigue. Like you and I were
Yeah.
talking about this offline, but
Yeah.
it's like my wife and I traveled, sounded awesome, living the laptop lifestyle, traveling
Yeah.
wherever, which is awesome, right? The business allows and affords that. However, when you're really wanting to grow and really like push for something huge, and you probably know this from experience, you've done way more cooler things than me. But I think when you're trying to build something, there's only so much mental energy and bandwidth that you have. So you got to decide what your priorities are in life. Is it to enjoy life right now, or is it to really push forward and use all that mental bandwidth and energy to growing something that will afford you that later?
Yeah.
And I think it just wasn't, it was more expensive to do that than it was like, it just really was. Cause I'm like, dude, just thinking about it, like, I don't want to have to figure out all the different little condiments that we have. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to have to go to the grocery store every time and just buy that for 4 weeks and then just like throw it away and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I'd rather put that into building something that I can do that and just not even have to think or worry about that next time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about systems.
So when you and Bailey thought about it at first, like what was the combo like, hey, let's live this life? And then how did it transition back, like relative to your goals and what you're trying to do in business? And like how I'm curious how the conversations went.
Yeah, at first it was like, "That sounds dope." Um,
Whose
to
idea
be
was it?
honest, like, what was that?
How'd it come up? Like how'd
Okay,
y'all
so
decide we want to try? For those that don't, he was like, yo, we're gonna just, and I don't know the exact details, but in my head I heard, yo, we're just gonna travel around the country, live wherever the hell we want to live, check out cool places and print money.
that's
That's the
literally how
combo
it
I
go
heard.
literally
Yeah.
how it went, bro. We our lease was coming up to an end,
Got
and
it.
so we're like 2 months out, and we're like, "Do we wanna renew this lease or not?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not opposed to it, but I think would be really cool because she wanted to move to Florida.
Got
And
it.
I was like, I don't know if I'm fully ready to commit, but what if we just went and lived in Airbnbs in different cities to kind of test out the cities that we like and maybe
Yeah.
move there? And
Yeah.
so that was the idea. So literally what we did is we had an apartment at that time. We sold all of our stuff inside the apartment except our bed. Because it's like that's just we got blessed with like we got given a California King bed
Yeah.
when we got married, and it's like the best ever. And so I was like, I'm not trying to like rebuy that. And so we just kept it at my in-laws house out here. Anyways, long story short, we did that, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna go to North Carolina and we'll start our journey there and then kind of travel all around. And then if we find a place that we like, we're just gonna like buy a house or just rent there for like a year.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we did. What ended up happening though was in that time, dude, was the holidays.
Yeah.
So what happened was 3 weeks after we got there, she already had a trip planned to Europe for 2.5 weeks. So then I came to New Mexico. So in that time, we're there for 3 weeks. We get adjusted, and then we have to put all of our stuff. We pack it in the car. A person that we met out there, we left all of our stuff in the car at their house for 3 weeks while we're both gone. We're both in different parts of the world at that point. Then we come back, we go to another Airbnb. Then 2 weeks later is Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving, for Thanksgiving, we flew to California. So
Yeah.
that's a whole endeavor. Then after that, we go to Wisconsin. So then then we go to Wisconsin to hang out with family just for like her grandparents' anniversary. So it's like a bunch of traveling in that time. Then after that, her parents come and they're with us for 2 weeks. So it was like back to back to back to back to back traveling a ton. And then we went to Virginia in between there too. And so in this time, it's like you're trying to still like you're still making money, but it's like so many different things. It's like stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go in life that you're trying to like make things work out, and then it just didn't, right? So then towards the new year, I was like, honestly, don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, I feel the same way. I want some level of consistency, like at least a month somewhere. And then she also started her master's degree. So that's like, I was like, let's make life easy so we can go hard in other areas of life. And she's like, I agree. So we ended up like coming back to Arizona. In the meantime, we actually went to New Mexico for 2 months, which is where my family is. Stayed there in their house, dude. It wasn't a nightmare. It was just, it's probably wasn't the best decision ever to stay with your, like like my parents for 2 months. Like that was just a lot of dynamics there. If I would have
We can
gone back,
all
I
relate to
probably,
that, bro.
huh?
We can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Many people that
But,
love that.
but the funny thing about it is though, I had the 2 best months that I've ever had in business in that point. I think it's because I was so happy to be with my family again. Um, However, it's like so much to balance in between there. I'm teaching my brother about the business, which was cool. So he's 3 years younger than me. And so I was able to like really unlock a lot of beliefs that he's had in terms of like business in general. And so because one day we were working out and he's like, what are you thinking about? I was like, why am I not making 100,000 a month right now? Like genuinely, like I'm genuinely curious. And he's like, what? And I was like, there's like 3 or 4 hours of context I need to build into this conversation. So come to the house, let's break this down, showed him my laptop and like literally just broke things down, like each part of like the whole business, the whole just online businesses in general, outside of insurance, things like that. And it unlocked a new vision for him. And he actually started a business there, got a few clients, not insurance related, for his tutoring business. And so it was cool to be able to help him. And then he actually called me last week and was like, dude, I think I'm going to get my insurance license this summer and actually start it. So it's cool to all that to like go about. But yeah, so then we ended up coming back to Arizona and now we're here, which is nice because it's like familiar. We met here. We have good relationships here and the gym's close and I can like actually be here. It's like you all those little things that you don't think you need to think about is kind of just automated out now. So it's nice.
So now I want to know, why are you not making 100 grand a month?
So
What did you figure
that's a
out?
good question. For a long time, it was because I got distracted a lot.
With
It's distracted with the new thing. And so that's like why that's what was hard for me. And so what I've realized is that, and I've actually come close.
Mhm.
February, I made 90. So it's like I'm close. However,
How much was
I think
personal versus business? Curious.
so it's actually coaching.
Oh, got it.
So yeah, so personal though, my biggest month was 55 in
Okay.
like commission. So anyways, the all that to be said though, the what was the question again?
Why are you not making 100? What did you
Yeah,
figure out that's causing you not to make 100 grand? If you contemplate it, looked
yeah,
at it, you're a smart dude.
it was doing the things that are successful, doing it over and over and over and over and over again. That's what I messed up on. And so I did that for 2 years. And I was like, bro, and like you've seen it from a distance, but because you and I've had like we'll check in every once in a while, but you've seen it, right? And so it's like that's the mistake is not doing the things that I need to do over and over and over again that will repeat successful actions. And so that was my biggest mistake in that regard, for sure.
So
So if I were to go over again, and if I were to start over again, what I would have done is the carriers and the IMOs or whatever. Like it's like, yeah, there's gonna be some good, some bad. There's gonna whatever it is, right? Everybody's preaching against the other one. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's all pretty much the same. Comps are very similar. It's not like, oh my gosh, like it's not like this. It's all fairly comparable. And the thing is, like everybody's making millions at every IMO. Doesn't matter if you're with World Financial Group, FFL, like the new ones now. It really doesn't matter. There's still people making money. It's just a matter of like what is going to work for you. And so it's like actually committing to a process long term is the mistake that I made. So the leads are the leads are the leads. The systems or whatever. It's more a matter of like finding what is going to be best for your situation and actually sticking to it because all of them work. And I didn't do that. It was just like, dude, like, just like full transparency. I literally switched IMOs 4 times in my first like 9 months. Like, it was bad. And I own that because like it's horrible. But it's like I think that's such a obviously it's to the extreme, but I think the reason why new agents aren't successful is because they do that. Whether they go to 4 IMOs or not, I haven't met somebody that's
It's
gone to
common,
that
dude.
many.
No, dude, I hear it all the time, bro. It's
Yeah.
common. And they think that's the next trick. Certainly we
Yeah.
all have beliefs that where we work is quote unquote, but dude, I've never been confused that where we work also we have damn problems. You know what I mean? Like none of us are perfect. And to your point, people are printing money at all of them. The carriers are the same, the products
Yeah.
are the same, training, everyone's going to argue theirs is the best. You know what I mean? Certainly some of us can go, hey, we got a lot more volume. That probably means something. But at the core, you're not wrong, dude. And what I always tell people, that, bro, is this industry has been around so long that there was money, gobs of money, trillions of dollars being made every year in insurance before any of us were around, before any technology whatsoever, before any leads, before phones, before computers, before telesales, before CRMs. Like they've been making the money forever, And so, again, I certainly think all of us have some level of belief in where we do work, but at the same time, I don't think that's the magic either.
Yeah.
I never really have. I've been fortunate to find really good people that have helped me make it easier. But again, there are people making money with the phone book,
Yeah.
door to door in the '60s, making millions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's tough, bro. Like, to be honest though, like we're always wanting the new thing.
yeah,
But it's hard. Like that's the level to get to 20 to 30. Once I actually stuck to that, then I was able to make consistent 20 to $30,000 months like clockwork.
yeah,
But it's when I had that realization that like that's it. But it is
it's
really
like
hard at first, bro. It really is hard.
yeah. How again, mastermind, same deal. What made it click for you? What changed?
I think one is actually taking the emotions out of it as much as I could. Um, and I think there's an importance of actually tracking your data and getting data. Like that's where it's at. Like that numbers won't lie. And whenever I'm not 100% confident in something or feeling some way, it's always comfortable looking at the numbers as bad as they are and being like, dude, this is where I'm at. And
Yeah,
so, because at least there's like, it's either motivation that'll come out of it or it'll be, oh, I'm not even doing that bad. I feel like I am, but that's how the business ebbs and flows. And so it was actually diagnosing every single number that I have and being like, I'm actually not doing that bad. I just need to actually double the leads that I get.
do more of it.
And
Yeah,
so, yeah, do more of it. Right. And so, that's what really clicked to me, and then actually not doing it for other people and ego, like
yep.
not feeding the ego in terms of like, oh, I'm submitting all this business, but like, all right, how's my business actually cash flowing? That's the number one thing I'm going to work on, and I'm literally going to tune out everything else. So I in January last year I deleted Instagram. I still post and all that still now. I just use the Meta Business Suite app, which is nice. Um, but I deleted that stuff because I'm like, I need to get all the I need to tune out all the noise and just focus on my process and doing that the best that I can and perfecting that. Because it just comes
There's
down to like that there's a certain point that it comes where you don't need any more new information. Like we're in a stage where
yeah,
just in life, I think in the way the world is that information is so accessible. It's easy to get information overload and do nothing about it, like mental masturbation, right? It's
yeah.
like mentally just like you get off and you actually feel productive and the productivity starts spinning and spinning, spinning. You actually feel like you're actually being productive when you're actually doing nothing. And so there's a certain point that you just turn all that stuff off. I deleted YouTube, I deleted Instagram, I deleted Facebook, all that stuff. I still am able to post on there, but I deleted all that stuff and I said, all I needed to do is just do the work. Like, that's all it comes down to. I know exactly what I need to do. There's not a new podcast that I need to listen to, even though I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I have one on my own, but there's not a new, somebody telling the knowledge, the thing that I know I need to do. Hearing that over and over and over again is not going to help me get closer to my goal. That's what it came down to.
It's funny when I do a lot of these events and trainings and Zoom. I do a million things, and one of the questions I always ask people, especially I like to do it live. I always go like, "Is there anything here that was said that you've not already heard before?"
That it's true though. It's
And
so
everyone's
true.
like, "Nah, I've heard it." I'm like, "So what's changed? What are you going to change? Are you going to do it? Because we said it last time and you didn't do it yet, and you're still broke. So now we're all going to say it again this time." You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to, and now, fortunately for you and I, new people will see. There will be people who see this for the first time. It's like cool, but like if you've seen both of us, which if you've been around the business for a hot minute, you've seen both of us online. If you've already watched our stuff, hang up and go work. Like end the video, go work.
Yeah.
There's going to be nothing new from either one of us that we haven't said before. And it's funny kind of figuring that out along the way. I think everyone I know has had that type of realization, like, I just gotta put in the work, dude. And as you know, people overthink it, man. I had this guy hit me up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bro, you
not
always got a
last.
story about this. I listen to your stuff. I love what you're doing here. And you always, it's funny because you always got a story
Yeah,
about like, dude, a guy hit me up, and then there's gonna be a good lesson in here. But I just love whenever you say that. I'm like, I always like lean in. I'm like, what does he about
yeah,
to say? I'm
yeah.
so curious about
I love
this.
it. So
Because
this
I
dude
was one of those guys, bro.
you
That's what
were.
I'm
That's how
saying.
we
I
met.
was
Yeah,
one
that's
of
people
those
don't know.
guys that reached out to you. So
Yeah,
I'm just curious, like, what other people ask and stuff.
yeah. So there's
That's
one
how
dude
we
I
met.
get. It is, yeah. I remember you hit me up on Instagram. So this guy hit me. I had a couple cool ones this week on Instagram. I'm gonna pull it up and read it like direct. Let's see if I can find it. Here you go. So he sends me a message one day that was like he started DMing me like a week ago, and he goes, I know. He goes like, I know you didn't ask for me to message you, but blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, since you didn't ask and you messaged me, you also didn't ask for feedback, and I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? And I like told him straight up. But I'll skip that piece. What I wanted to say was he sent me a message the other day, and it said, "Rough day today. Wi-Fi outage, 4 no-shows, 4 sits, 80 dials, no new appointments, couple chargebacks, following up on pending. Tomorrow's another day." What do you think my reply was? Any idea?
I would, I think
It was one,
80
two,
dials
three,
question
four,
mark.
five, six, seven. It was 8 words. You're
Do
close
more,
though.
get better later. I don't know.
Hey, my guy. I said, sounds like a half day to me, bro. And he replies and says, "Damn, John, I agree, no excuses." I'm like, truth. I could do 4 appointments and 4 no-shows and $80 before lunch, bro. Like, what do you mean, rough day? You could have played 2 rounds of golf and had dinner with your family in addition to that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we doing? So the next day he texts me, 342 dials so far. And I was like, it was 5 o'clock. I'm like, yo, and it's early, 500 plus. And then he goes on it and he ends the day 503. You know what I mean? Like I like challenging people, but this dude in his head, he was like, he literally thought it was a hard day in the business. And like you were talking to your brother, your perspective on things shifts people. I literally thought, yo, this dude only worked a third of the day, a half day. Like my responsibility
Yeah.
was, it sounds like a half day. Like, dude, it's about a day off when you work that little, you know? And I truly believe that. But I didn't always, because I remember being like him too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, I
Dude,
wish
yeah.
someone punched me in the face sooner.
100%. Yeah.
So I see
Whenever you're
that more
feeling
than
bad, that's what I love about this business is whenever you're feeling bad or sorry for yourself, just get moving, do something.
Mhm.
Like just get moving and shaking and like just make more dials. Like there's always some, I'm not going to say it pacifies it, but all the problems work out when you just do more. And I would like,
Yeah.
I've started. What's cool is as I've like developed just like in this business, I've seen like I understood the concept of what you said. Do more, get better later. I understood that. Like I was like, okay, that makes sense. But actually seeing that and then also helping out new agents and training other people, it's like that motto, it's just so simple and but it's so true. Like you will get better with volume,
Correct.
but you have to put in the volume. There's no way that you can just get better. It's like everybody asks quality versus quantity. Well, it's both. You
Yeah.
have to have quality, but you can't get quality if you don't do quantity. So it's that over and over and over again. And I think like with anything in life, right? Like I've really tried to grow and develop on YouTube. Dude, I've put out 100 videos the past 100 days. Like I'm on a 100 day streak because I'm like, there's no way I get to a good YouTube channel without doing volume. Like I have to do volume and I have to commit to it and I just get better every day. And so same thing with making dials, same thing with doing presentations, same thing with whatever. And what's cool is there's a certain point that there's the learning curve, but there's a certain point that you've learned all that you need, that all you just got to do is do like, just do that more, double that. And so Alex Hormozy talks about it a lot. It's like do more, do that better, and then do new. So
Yeah.
what are you doing right now? Do more of it. All right, cool. So now you have the flow. Now, how do you do that better? How do you optimize? Okay, cool. You did 100 presentations. Do 200. All right, cool. Now you did 200. Okay, what do we need to do now? Dude, your close ratio is horrible. What objections are you getting? Okay, you're getting these 3 objections. Let's role play. Drill, 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 drill. All right, cool. Did that. Now you do the same 200 presentations and you probably double your sales. And then it's new, maybe. You usually go back to more and do better, more, better, more, better, more, better. New is everybody wants to jump to that new part, but it's like if you don't do more and do better, I don't know. It's hard to be successful.
Yeah. It's wild. Everybody tends to, and I was this way. I was like, I'll do more, but I want to be better at it first. It's the wildest, like backwards dynamic, but it gets a lot of people stuck. And I think for me, it's like, once I figured that out, dude, I was only really good at selling a few things. But dude, I sold the snot out of those few things. And if you gave me something that was different, like I don't know nothing. I don't even know one thing about like Medicare and how it works. I don't know nothing about health insurance. I never sold an IUL. Not saying people shouldn't, and they ain't there, but I printed money and I never sold one. Didn't know anything about them. I was like, I'm too busy doing this. Now again, it was 8 years ago. The world is very different with IULs today. I would, you know what I mean? I'd maybe take a different approach today, but then I wouldn't have learned some of the other things. I like to focus and go deep with stuff versus get really wide with knowledge. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I remember when I said one day from stage, what's that thing? Is it AEP? Is that the right terminology? I think that's what it's called. It's
For
like a
what?
period of time. See, you don't even know either. I love it. I don't know, some kind of Medicare crap. And
Oh,
they were talking
AEP?
about it. Yeah, yeah. And they were talking about it the entire time. And I get on stage and I'm like, yo, y'all been talking about AEP for like 3.5 hours. Can someone tell me what that means? And like everybody laughed and was shocked I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know or care. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to know that to do what I do well.
Where was that, by
It's,
the way? If you don't mind me asking.
where did I do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Let me think.
Was it a
I don't know if,
conference or what?
yeah, it was some kind of conference. Yeah, yeah. I was on stage somewhere at a conference. I don't remember who I was speaking with, but they just kept talking about it. And I'm like, can someone please inform me? You know,
Yeah.
like I just learned 4 minutes ago what it was at the time. You know, I still don't know what it means. Annual enrollment, something, I think. Anyway,
Period. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I don't even understand the concept, even though I can say what it means, like the words. I don't. And again, for me, I never cared. And some people do. They want to know. They feel like they have to, and they can reason why they should do life, and they should do health, and they should do Medicare, and da da da. And I'm like, amen, amen at you. This is not
But
how I did it,
what's
and we did
interesting
well.
about the whole thing, and we like this, a lot of people listening might not understand what we're talking about here, but what's interesting about what you're saying is you're a red green, right?
I am, yes, yeah,
Okay, so that's what's interesting is that you came from an accounting spot, and usually accounting people, dude, They're not like that. Like, you need
Yeah.
the information. I need it
Yeah.
laid out. So, like, I don't know. That's interesting for sure, is like
I've had to fight that,
you
dude.
doing it.
Meaning red is like, for those that know, red is like very like high driven. I'm gonna run through a wall. I'm gonna get shit done, like Abe type personality. And green is like super analytical. And there's a couple
Yeah.
others, right? And man, I had to fight that, dude. And I had to learn how to let myself be analytical, but in a way where you said it, where you look at the data and figure out how I can make more with doing more with who I am. So my numbers, when I figure that out, here's how many I close every 100 appointments. Just here's my numbers. All right, forget trying to get a 90% close ratio because mine was 40. I didn't know how to go from
Yeah.
40 to 90% closing, but I knew how to go from 100 presentations to 200. And I'm like, dude, let me just take that path. But I did have to fight, dude, the first couple of years wanting to know everything and how it all worked and how did they come up with pricing and why is their pricing different than that? And what about the benefits over here and what rating are you and all that stuff, dude. My default is information.
Yeah.
And I still to this day, now I've learned how to harness it in a way that I can take the pieces of analytical that are good and the ones that are not to move on from them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But that's a daily battle for me, dude. It's like don't overthink things. Don't be too analytical. Cut it out. Like I need this much information, not this much.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's like what you and I talked about it too, but like you're doing what is it called? A 282 something?
Oh, the climb?
Yeah, what's it called again?
29029. Y'all Google it.
29029. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So like that's a good example, right? Like I think if you want to really like go out and do stuff, you don't need all the information. And you just need at least a good grasp and understanding like, okay, if this is what you're saying is true, yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool, I'll
Here's
do it. And
you know,
you did that, right? Like
yeah, so
it's
it's
just
coming up
like
in August. I did that with a marathon. I didn't know nothing about it, did the marathon. The 29029, all I really know is I'm flying to Canada and I'm climbing a mountain 8 times in 36 hours. I don't know a ton about the terrain. I don't know the weather. I don't know what type of shoes to wear. I don't know much. I just
yeah.
know. And then it's like, what's your training? Well, if I have to climb again, it's each one is 4 miles, right? So I'm like, when I'm at the gym, I can do a mile and a half in 30 minutes on the treadmill, walking,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, every hour I can do 3 miles. So if I have to go 30, I'm on a treadmill and that would take me 10 hours. It's definitely going to take me longer. So I'm like, yo, I might be out in the elements for 20 hours hiking a mountain. So for me, all I need to know now is I have to mentally prepare to climb a mountain for 20 hours. Because if I can't mentally prep for that, the shoes don't matter, dude. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter for me anymore. I
Yeah.
just don't care. All I know is I'm going to finish. And you know what you get? It's so corny, dude. You get a red hat that says 2902. There's a red hat you get. That's so it's a you know what I mean? It's like what I'm doing for a
Yeah.
red hat. But it's a mental challenge, it's something hard. I like being the dude that can do hard stuff without really overthinking it too much. And it's like, what's your training?
Yeah.
I gotta work out my legs a lot. I don't know, you know what I mean? I gotta hike a lot and I gotta do that stair stepper thing at the gym a lot. That's my plan. Do those a lot. And hope by August I'm ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It is a
and that's
mental battle though. That's
it
like
is.
pretty much everything is like it really does come down to like the mental part of it. It's like it sucks. Like when you wake up and you're like your peak motivation, like, dude, I set the day, I'm ready to go. I'm making 400 dials today. And you wake up to an email that you got a chargeback of the
Yeah.
person yesterday. It's like, dude, that's a mental battle. That's irrelevant to you making 400 dials, but 400 you to make 400 dials, like now your quality of work is going down because of that. And so if you can get past that and be like, that is going to happen. Okay. All right. I can't do anything about it now. I can change for what I'm doing now, but don't let that affect today. Don't let tomorrow or yesterday affect today. So, but it does come down to the mental battle of it and the mental aspect of it.
What do you struggle with the most?
That's a great question. I would say what we were talking about earlier is just new. I've
Mhm.
actually in the like do like new stuff. right? Like the 4 IMOs and
And you
whatever.
want to do new stuff. So yeah, you're fighting against that.
I fight about that, but I think what's cool is I've brought a lot of like pay, like I just bring people in that I pay. Um, and I've actually like really gotten a lot better at that, to where it's like whenever I think of doing something new, I'm like, all right, just stay here, stay cool. And then what I'll do is I'll actually play it out. Like I have different people that I'll go to and be like, all right, they don't say no, because usually if I hear no, I'm like, well, now I just like want to go do it because you said no. And now you like pretty much justified why I should.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, cool, let's play it out. So then what's the next step? If you were to go do this, what's the next step? And then play it out, and it's like, okay, I actually don't really want that. All right, what else? And so I think I've been able to at least step back a little bit and not just like move out of place of desperation,
Yeah.
and move out of place of like what's long term going to be the most successful. And I think that's like what I'm grateful for, is I think I've had people that have really helped me in this area in the past like 5 months. Like I've seen tremendous growth in that area, and there's been times that I've been like, I would have definitely pivoted 120 different times in the past five months. But like now it's like, all right, cool. Let's just keep going. Run the
Have
play,
you
keep
always
going.
been
Run the
that way,
play, keep
dude?
going. Huh?
Have you always been that way? Like a little
What
squirrel? Like you
way?
just always want to, like, meaning you always,
Yeah, bro. I mean, I think I have, to be honest, because
yeah,
like you play basketball, like you probably see it with Maddox. It's like, dude, this team is so good. Like if I was only on that team, bro, we'd be like crushing. And so like that's how it'd be for me. Is like, dude, all my friends are going to play there. Like I want to go play there. And then it's like they switch. Everybody's squirrels in that way. It's like, bro, what if we do this? Oh my gosh, like, dude, this team sucks. Like this team is the worst ever. All right, dude, if we could get those and we get the uniforms, bro, like there's no way we lose. Right? It's just, bro, it's like the funniest thing. Bro, if I could get
sure.
that bat, the big barrel. Like, dude, little barrel, of course you're not. Of course you're striking out because you got a little barrel bat. You need a
Yeah.
big barrel. It's like that's what's gonna help. It's like, bro, like it really but that's the thing, that's the tendencies, right? I literally
Yes.
transferred in high school. I went to play in basketball high
No way.
school, and I transferred schools. Like, and so this is something deeper into my childhood that I've had to like really rework how my mind thinks and be like, no, dude, the reason why you chose this is because it was a good path. So stick to it. Let's just see it through. But it has been really, really, really tough and really challenging. Like I've really had to go deeper in my personal development to get out of that and to get away from it. But practically it's like the numbers. Just look at the numbers. Now I'm just data obsessed. Like if you like on this sheet right here, it's like all I do is just look at numbers like all day. Now I'm like too analytical to where it's like, okay, I should move now. Um, but it's like I'm just so addicted to the numbers, and it drives me insane when I talk to somebody and they're like, dude,
I don't know.
why am I not successful? I'm like, bro, you don't have your numbers.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to tell you what's working, what's not, when you don't even know what objections you're getting? You say one thing, it's like pull the call recording. Let's see what the call
Yeah.
recording
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
because you said you overcame this objection. Like it was so funny, dude, because I was this guy was like, bro, why do I keep getting cremation policies? He's like, I literally say this script word for word. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm listening to a present live. And I was like, got it. I literally know why you're getting so many of these small premiums. I literally know why, because you're literally guiding them and telling them and almost selling them only cremation plans.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's why. That's why your average premium's like almost 50% lower than average. Like that's why. And so it's funny because we have this story in our head, but what's the truth? And I think what's cool is numbers won't lie. You can't really like fake the numbers. So I think that's where it's like, oh, dude, like the guy, dude, I made 80 dials. It might feel like a long day, but like, dude, it's 80 dials, bro. Like it's so funny because you've had a big impact on like the way I see things. And so I'm like, bro, that's like an hour, less than an hour and a half of work. Like, did he
Yeah.
really work? Come on now.
Dude, I love it. I love that. I get messages. I think I might get my team to play a message or put it on social. This other dude messaged me yesterday, and he sent me a voice message. Hold on, I might do it. Let me see if I can play it. I don't know if you can hear this if I play it. Hold on. Tell me if you can hear this.
Incredible how sometimes the things are so simple or maybe a bit different. remember your stuff. I was doing self-talk to myself, only with your stuff. And every 10, 15 minutes, I was looking at my call history. I was looking at my calls to see there were gaps in between the calls. And every time that I saw that there was like a bunch of like calls with no gaps, I was, yes, motherfucker, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Keep going, keep going. And then every time somebody was telling me no or something like that, I was like, keep going, motherfucker. Remember, we're looking for the Easter egg with the 50 cents. That's all we're looking for. Man, I'm telling you, your stuff is incredible, man. Thank you.
Dude, that's it.
I don't even know him. I have no idea who that is.
I remember, it's so funny, bro, because that's what's cool about social media is like, I remember looking at watching your interview with Cody, and it was like maybe like 5,000 views at that time. That's obviously grown and blown up. But like, I remember when I would be dialing, I would go back and look at how much time was in between. I'm like, bro, what did I do in that time? Like, why did I not dial? Because I haven't talked to anybody. And so it's just setting like extreme accountability in place, which is cool. And what I've appreciated about you, and I'm pretty sure everybody listening can attest to this, is like, just simplify this business. Just simplified it. Like, that's it.
It worked for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, so how can I teach it another way? Not saying other people can't do it other ways. You know what I mean? I know this way, and I know it's worked well for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of agents. I'm like, shit, why don't we just keep it what it is?
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, seriously though.
I'm glad. So now you got me curious. You said you're really good with your data and your numbers, and which implies you definitely know how to get to whatever income amount you want to get to. But can you give some ideas of like what you do with those numbers? Like maybe what averages are, if I do this many appointments, I sell this much. Like, can you share some details?
Yeah. So, okay. So here's at a baseline what you need to do, right? Telesales specifically. I primarily focus on final expense and simplified issue term. That's it, right? So first of all, you need to find your niche. Find what you're going to do and go way deep into that. Now, like if you want to go IUL, is cool. Whatever it is, go super deep on it right when you're starting, because there's like 10 different products and carriers that you can use for each of those, for term, final, whatever it is, right? Like it's so confusing at first. So just to simplify it, pick one product. And honestly, if you can just pick one product to just go all in with, whether it's final expense, term, IULs, whatever it is, focus on one. Because I made the mistake of doing, oh, dude, I'm going to go in mortgage protection, and then I'm going to like go in and get the IULs, and then I'm actually going to go in and roll over all these annuities. And it's like, dude, I'm spending all this time trying to get annuities because I'm like going to take over the house and help all the like cross sell. And it's like, dude, I can't even cross sell if I don't even make sales. You can cross sell if you don't make any sales. And so, but like, that is a typical new agent. And so the reason I say that is focus on one. Like, yes, you might be leaving money on the table. It really doesn't matter. You have no money at the table. So like you're not leaving anything. You don't have a table. so create the table, right? All right. So first things first, pick the niche, final expense or term. Boom. All right. Now my camera died. Hold on. So the next thing that you do is, here we go. All right, cool. So first things first is pick the product. Second thing is track your numbers. So what's that look like? Dials, contacts, people you got on the phone, like actually to pick up, which is cool now is there's systems out there like Kixie. Kixie is a huge thing that like we use a ton, because that's super helpful. It just tracks everything. So it tracks your dials, contacts, then how many people you presented to, what's a and you have to define each of these terms, right? So somebody contact is like somebody who actually picks up, and it's like a human on the other line, right? It's not like it's not going to a voicemail. It's like actually somebody picked up the phone. Cool. Contact. All right. Now presentations. So let's define a presentation. You were able to go through the actual script. You're able to go through and present 3 numbers. Boom. That's a presentation. Then we track how many sales did you make. So what a sale is an approved application, an actual approved and it should issue application. So those are the main metrics that you should be looking at and actually tracking your business. Then that'll give you a baseline understanding of where the problem is. Then the next question is, then you go out and do I would recommend going out and doing 2 full weeks of work, probably 1 to 2 full weeks of work. That'll give you at least some data. So from there, and a full day, what I consider with decent leads, you should be dialing. I know that your numbers are higher. What I recommend is 300 dials for sure if you're not getting 5 presentations. So you should be getting 5 presentations in those 300 dials, but if you're not, there's something off. But we'll just say 300 is the baseline because that's what we look at. So all right, cool. 300 dials or 5 presentations. If you need to hit one of those, 100%. We're not worried about the sales at all. We're just going to track all of our data. So say you were to do that 6 days a week, 1,800 dials, 3,600 dials within those 2 weeks. Then you can actually isolate. You ask yourself, what problem am I trying to solve? So then from there, you say, okay, where's the hiccups, right? So I'll give an example. This guy, he's doing about 250 dials a day. Cool. Him and I met a week and a half ago. So it's been a week and a half, 10 days, but he took the weekend off, which don't take the weekend off when you're just starting. But 10 days, so 8 working days. All right, cool. You've done he did 15 presentations. We'll just call it 16 just because it's 2 a day. Easy math. Okay, cool. You're doing 2 presentations. You're not hitting the dials. That's the number one lever that you can pull to grow the business. That's the very first thing that you can do. However, there is a huge problem, dude. You close 2 apps out of 16 presentations. Bro, what objections are you getting? Everything lines up. You check. You're doing the dials. Yeah, it could be improved, but that's not the number one lever you can pull right now. The number one lever is, dude, your closing is like trash. Pull the recordings. Let's go through your presentations. What objections are you actually getting? Why are you only closing 2? You should be closing minimum 50%. On like a bad day, 40%, or bad like stretch, 40%. That's KPI, like key performance indicators, 40%. Our best closer closing over 100% just because we have this little cool thing that it's like, were you looking for yourself or are you wanting to get the family plan? You pick up 2 to 3 of those, 20 to 30% of your sales are actually doubles. So yeah, he doesn't close 100%, but dude's doing 10 to 12 presentations a week and getting 15 apps like consistently. That's because of the cross sells and things like that, which is dope. But that's one thing. So when you look at these numbers, you break everything down. Then you ask, what problem am I trying to solve? Then you isolate the problem, right? So that he's coming to me. He's like, dude, I don't know if the leads are working. I'm like, your closing ratio is horrible. Dude, you're closing 10, 15%. Dude, if you were to double that, you're doubling your profitability. Like you're profitable right now, but you're doubling that. So then it's like, that's a number one example. So it's a sales problem and it's a presentation problem. There's probably some objections you're getting within the call. You're probably not going through the framework well and actually overcoming the objections before you get them. So we were able to completely isolate. And now he has extreme clarity of like, all right, every day he's sending call recordings now of presentations that he's done. And so then we can be like, okay, now we need to drill these. So what we do is once we get the objection, what I have everybody do is every presentation they do, I have a tracker and it's like, did they buy? Yes or no? How much AP? Cool. Did they not buy? Why? Partner objection, spouse, or it was too much. They already had coverage, whatever it is, there's an objection and there's going to be an underlying like 2 to 3 objections you're getting. Now we need to role play and talk through those. Why are you getting these objections? Why didn't you uncover these before the actual thing? And you could actually build needs. So if they're going to think about it, you didn't build enough pain to be and build urgency of why they should do it today. And you also didn't explain the process. Why are they wanting to think about it? Like that's a smoke screen. What's the actual objection there? Is it too much? Is it like they're not sure if their partner's on board? Like what is it? So then you're able to go deeper into that. So that's the think about it. Partner is just like, dude, you can present without them, or like what's the other alternative? Like reset the appointment. All right, cool. So why didn't you ever uncover that before? Like you should. There's questions that we ask to be able to identify and pull those. It's called killing the zombies. We're able to isolate that and be like, all right, cool. We killed that objection off. We're not getting that at the end of the call. So now we need to work on your pre-closing questions. So that's an actual problem we're trying to solve. If you always ask yourself that, then you can isolate what you need to do. Then from there, what's really cool is we've had people I built out a basic tracker. I'm just like, I need the data. What's cool is we've had people inside of like our coaching community take this to the extreme to where it's like now they're like data obsessed, which is awesome. So they built out this huge, insane tracker that actually gets better the more data that you put in. So you put your daily activity in, and then it compounds over time. So it gives you your yearly of like yearly how many dials you've made over the year, and then it also gives monthly projections. So where it's like, okay, input your goal, make $20,000 profit. All right, cool. Based on the 3 months of data or 4 months of data you've put in, these are the exact numbers you need to hit based on all your data that you've put in, which is awesome. And it gets better over time, just like fine wine, right? So it's like you're able to do that. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the data. It's like you isolate the problem. Okay, you're not doing enough dials. Okay, then what? So if you're doing the dials but not doing the presentations, then your intro is horrible. So let's master the first 5 seconds of the call. How do we do that? We just role play over and over and over and over and over again. Make sure your intro is really good. So that's what we do with the data, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's sick.
Then we can have projections.
Yeah.
Then it just becomes a math equation. Dude, you need to get 1,000 leads, and dude, you need to get 1,000 leads this month and do X amount of activity, and you're probably going to hit it. And if not, there's a problem there, and then we hit it next month.
Yeah. Yeah. When I did that exercise, however long, 10 years ago, my averages came out. It was like I was depositing $250 every time I booked an appointment. So when I just looked at the two numbers, that's what it equaled. And I'm like, if I go run 1,000 appointments, I'll make 250. I was like, shit, easy math. And I did it, but then I made 460 because I messed up and got better along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The momentum happened and all these things that the numbers couldn't account for. But I knew my minimum, my baseline was at 250. And I'm like, I just got better along the way. I learned how to find, kill the zombies, like you say, and find other opportunities and get bigger premiums and, identify when they were going to say, I want to think about it and leave and get to a better appointment. It's like all those things came, but I had to understand, for me, understanding where I was at in business, dude, it was a game changer for me because then this literally became like a complete game to me. It's like, how much you want to make? Go run this. And the emotions went away from me after I figured that out.
Dude, that's 100% it, right? And so if you guys are a new agent, you guys aren't where you guys actually want to be in your business, what I 100% recommend is the leaderboards are there, which is awesome. Those are for like experienced people that are there, that it just shows what's possible. Just take that like, okay, that is possible. I can definitely do that. But count your small wins. If you made a sale, dude, you made a sale. Like that's a huge win. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if it's $20 a month. I genuinely don't care, dude. You made the sale and now you have proof that you can do it again. Now replicate what you did. You can get better. That's all part of the getting better over time. Yeah, you're not getting the best premium. Yeah, whatever it is, right? Like create the flow. Just do stuff. Get sales under your belt. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. But then once you do that, you have a baseline understanding of the whole process from start to finish. And that was always encouraging to me. Like, okay, I was able to do that. Now I know I can replicate that at scale. And so if I do more of what I just did, I know I can get better results. And then there's little tricks of the trade that you can do to be able to get those family plans, to be able to get those X, Y, and Z things, to where it's like you're picking up multiple apps, you're doing 12 presentations and closing 15 apps. People are like, dude, how? Bro, it's simple. But you don't get there if you don't do any work or activity. You don't get there without just like, I don't know, like doing nothing. You got to do stuff.
You ain't allowed to have that yet.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get the privilege of solving that problem because you haven't solved the first problem of doing the activity.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Speaking my language, bro.
Let's go. Yeah, bro. Super appreciative of you, man.
My dude, I appreciate you coming on and hanging, and we definitely should connect more. So.
Yeah, bro. I completely agree.
Dude. How do you want them to find you? I know you're not on social, but you want them to find your stuff. So give it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You don't consume social.
Exactly. I was telling one of the guys on my team. I was like, I'm a creator, not a consumer. Yeah. But anyways, follow me on Instagram, Johnny Nitafan, JOHNNY. Nitafan1, or YouTube, Johnny Nitafan. Post tons of content on there. John Wetmore and I, we got a podcast coming out soon. So I just started the Life Insurance Telesales Mastery podcast. So we've got some heavy hitters, people that you might have had on this as well. So it's cool. But appreciate you, man, having me on, dude. It's always good times.
The real ones, dude. Keep killing it. And if I can help with anything, let me know.
Got you, bro.
Dude, appreciate you.